I once believed that life had a way of rewarding loyalty. I was wrong. The day started with excitement. My wife, Clara, had just finalized the biggest real estate deal of her career, a contract that would propel her into the top ranks of her firm. We'd been together for over a decade, married for 8 of those years. To the highs and lows, I had been her biggest supporter, cheering her on, managing the home, and celebrating every step of her success as if it were my own. When she called that morning and told me not to come to her office because things were hectic, I felt a pull in my chest. But instead of listening, I chose to do something special for her. A surprise, a small celebration of her achievement, and everything we had built together. I ordered a custom cake, a lemon raspberry flavor we both love from our wedding, and paired it with flowers matching her company's colors. I even coordinated with her assistant, who enthusiastically suggested I arrive around 4 p.m. so we could catch her at the perfect moment. The plan was simple: show up, surprise her, and create a memory she'd never forget. At exactly 4 p.m., I arrived at the towering office building, cake box in hand. Her assistant and a few of her colleagues joined me in the elevator, chatting and laughing as we ascended. As the doors opened on her floor, our laughter faded. A sound reached us, faint at first, but unmistakable as we got closer. "Come on, baby, give me your juice, make me a mommy." Every breath around me stopped. The cake box tilted slightly in my hand as I froze, the words echoing in my ears. Some of her co-workers chuckled nervously, thinking it might be a joke, but I recognized that voice. With a pounding heart, I stepped ahead and pushed open the conference room door. What I saw will haunt me for the rest of my life. There she was, my wife, lying half naked on a conference table, legs wrapped tightly around a man I knew too well. Gerald Langford, nearly 70, balding, married, and once her mentor at the start of her career. His face flushed, gasping for air like a panting dog, while Clara moaned beneath him. The cake slipped from my grip and hit the ground. Clara's eyes shot open. She saw me standing there, her co-workers behind me, and then the realization dawned on her face. Her mouth opened, but no words escaped. I stared at her for a moment longer, my world collapsing with every heartbeat. "Well," I said softly, my voice colder than ice, "is this the bonus they promised you?" Without waiting for an answer, I turned and walked away. The elevator door slid shut behind me, and in that moment, something inside me changed forever. I wasn't crushed. I wasn't destroyed. I was already planning. The next day, my phone buzzed with desperate voicemails from Clara. She rambled through excuses, claiming they'd been testing a virtual reality demo for a client. Lies. Excuses are always the first signs of guilt. I deleted the messages without listening to the end. I spent that day gathering evidence. Clara had once shown me how to access her office building security cameras online. I logged in, downloaded the footage from a conference room that day, every frame showing them entering, the door closing behind them, and the unmistakable sounds that followed. Then came the text messages. Though she believed she had erased them, I recovered deleted conversations from our shared cloud backup, pages of messages between her and Gerald, pet names like Sugar and Alpha, playful emojis, secret rendezvous details, and flirtatious exchanges that erased any remaining doubt. I didn't stop there. I accessed her work emails, where I found professionally phrased but clearly inappropriate exchanges between her and Gerald, long meetings, after-hours brainstorming, and thinly veiled suggestions of their ongoing relationship. I compiled everything into an encrypted file, a complete digital archive of her betrayal. The plan was simple: destroy the pillars of her security, reputation, income, and pride. First, I created a new email account and sent the evidence to a select few: her company CEO, the head of HR, Gerald's wife, and the building security chief. No accusations, just the hard facts, video files, and time-stamped messages titled simply, "Violation of Conduct, Confidential." Next came their finances. Clara leased her BMW under a corporate program. I called the dealership's finance office, pretending to be from HR, reporting irregularities in executive perks, and requesting a full audit. The lease was suspended within hours. For Gerald, I discovered through his expense reports that he had charged lavish dinners and hotel stays to the company. A discreet tip to the finance department prompted an immediate investigation, freezing his accounts and triggering a forensic audit. Finally, I targeted their carefully polished social images. I anonymously shared a brief clip from the security footage to an industry Slack group with a caption that read, "When professional boundaries turn personal." Screenshots of Clara's suggestive texts and images of Gerald signing company contracts with Clara sitting far too close made their way to LinkedIn circles and private forums. Within hours, whispers spread like wildfire. By evening, Clara's phone lit up with panic. Messages from her boss demanding explanations, colleagues gossiping, and HR preparing disciplinary hearings. Gerald's wife, armed with undeniable proof, filed for divorce that same night. A couple of days later, Clara appeared at my doorstep, her eyes swollen, hair disheveled, a hollow-shelled woman who once stood so proudly beside me. "Please, Ethan," she whispered, voice trembling. "I've lost everything. Gerald won't even speak to me. My job's gone. They're talking about legal charges. You did this." I looked at her for a long moment before speaking. "Do you remember what you screamed that day?" I asked quietly. She looked away in shame. "You said, 'Give me your juice, make me a mommy.' And you said it to my brother." Her head dropped lower. Tears streamed down her face as she tried to speak, but I raised my hand to silence her. "Don't insult me with your excuses. You had everything, my trust, my love, my loyalty. You didn't have to destroy me. You chose this." I stepped aside and pointed to the door. "You'll find sympathy somewhere in a dictionary between slander and suicide, but not here." Without arguing, she left. Gerald didn't escape either. With the scandal exposed, rumors swirled about him abusing his position for personal favors. His name quietly vanished from the company's leadership roster. Within months, he was unemployed, blacklisted across the industry, and struggling to find work in a distant small-town firm, stripped of status, wealth, and Clara. 6 months passed since the day I walked into that conference room with a cake and left with my world in pieces. But in those 6 months, I discovered something I never expected: freedom. I sold my place in the city and moved to a small town, far away from towering skyscrapers and haunting memories. I bought a modest home where the porch creaks when it rains, and neighbors nod politely without probing into your past. Peace, I learned, has its own sound. It's the quiet breeze in the morning as you sip your coffee. It's the silence of not checking your phone every minute for another lie. One evening, a message appeared from Clara. "You got everything you wanted. Are you happy now?" I stared at the words for a long time before replying. "No, Clara, I'm not happy because of what happened to you. I'm happy because I stopped letting you control my happiness. You were never my story, just a plot twist." And then I blocked her for good. A year later, I found myself volunteering at a literacy program I had always wanted to join. That's where I met Elise, a kind-hearted woman who listened, laughed, and never once glanced at her phone while we talked. One afternoon over coffee, she asked softly, "Do you think people can truly start over?" I thought about Clara, about the betrayal, the night spent drowning in anger, and then the morning spent breathing again. "Yes," I said, "if they want to, and if they're willing to fight for it." She smiled, reached for my hand, and in that moment, for the first time in a long while, I knew what it felt like to begin again.